A beautiful word appeared in my mind. It's called, rather a term, it's called mental health, or to a broader aspect, mental well-being. What is this mental well-being? What is this mental health? What is this human obsession over the term? Why? And do people really care about mental wellness, mental health? Really? And I mean really. In their core of being, do they actually feel that kind of responsibility to have a positive impact over the term as well as its impact upon the society? Can people understand the term to such an extent that all the so-called stigmas attached to it would suddenly vanish, disappear? Is it possible? Now please, slow. Don't jump to the conclusion. Don't, I urge to you. I'm very aware that you're just about to make a conclusion or make an opinion out of all that. What is a healthy life? What is a sane life? What is sanity? What is insanity? Is there any such thing as sanity, or is there any such thing as insanity? Isn't the whole society as it is today insane in its own way, with its own urge for patterns and own insecurities and delusions and illusion of knowledge and all that? Isn't the society insane? So with such an ingrained insanity, how can one part of the society term another part, smaller part, as clinically insane? Is it justified? Now the point is, there is no such thing as justified or unjust or just. It's all human constructs, because most humans won't even go into the depth of those terms. They won't even try to understand the underlying essence of all of them, and they just simply take things for granted, and before they even know it, voila, they have an opinion about something which they don't even truly understand, but they think they do. What is a healthy life? What is a sick life? What is sickness? Wellness is not lack of sickness. Wellness is the capacity to overcome sickness. A well and healthy life is not free from sickness. In fact, a life without sickness is a life without wellness. Sickness adds value of wellness in life itself, whether that sickness is physiological or psychological. Now here's the interesting part. There is no psychological illness in the world that does not have a physiological basis. And when we are talking about physiological basis, in most cases, all those psychological conditions, if we may call it, have neurological origins, neurological reasons. Now, why do we need to call or address the issue? We need to address the issue because of the society's ingrained insanity, the natural kind of insanity. For that, because of that insanity, they foster prejudices. Because of that insanity, they boast about their delusional beliefs. By delusional beliefs, I'm not talking about the natural, healthy belief over a supernatural being, but I'm rather talking about in terms of bigotry. The belief that says, my God is the best, yours is wrong or false. So if we put aside all that, what is insanity? Society is insane. It's a fact. I cannot deny it, and I hope that you cannot deny it either. I'm not sure, but I hope that you cannot deny it, because if you did deny it, or if you were not aware of it in the first place, you wouldn't be listening to me right now. Rather, you would be probably getting some release out of the song called Anaconda. Anyways, that's a different matter. We're not talking about arousing testosterone. We are talking about a balanced state among all the neurochemicals that, by their very nature, would shower upon you a kind of wellness with occasional illnesses. Now, mental illness, when we are talking now, let's get to the clinical part. There is no specific measurement for terming a person insane or sane. It's all relative. For example, almost every single human being, one way or another, in one time or another, suffers from some sort of mental conflict, mental sickness. Now we have, because of all the advancement that you have made in the domain of our studies in psychology and neuroscience and all that, we have developed terms, labels to put on it so that it's easier for clinicians to treat those conditions. But that labeling has also brought along some disastrous consequences. Because the moment people are labeled, other ordinary people either consciously or subconsciously start to create opinion about them. That person is clinically ill. That person is sick. I should keep some distance from that person. So let's get some perspective on this matter from the domain of neuroscience. I'm a neuroscientist, and I have a condition called OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. But that condition hasn't stopped me from being a neuroscientist. That condition hasn't stopped me from doing anything. Yes, for me, things, daily chores are more difficult from another person who doesn't have OCD. But that's a part of me. I cannot deny it. The first step to treating a mental sickness, a mental condition, a mental illness, or any kind of illness is acceptance. Acceptance both by the self as well as the society. The society must accept those illnesses as natural part of life. And of course, the self must. It's not should, it's not a matter of should or should not, it's a matter of that you have to accept it, and it must come naturally as well. With acceptance comes wellness, and that wellness is not free from any kind of sickness or illness. That wellness is the capacity to cope with that sickness and moving on ahead with that sickness, accepting it as a part of your existence. Because without those sicknesses of ours, everyday sicknesses, we don't need to label them, any kind of sicknesses, we won't know the value of life. Today you value life at those times when you're happy, but the moment that happiness goes away and you start to get sad or sick for whatever reason, then you value them 1,000,000,000 times more. But here's the point. Real wellness comes through stoicism, which means being happy, being sad, being well, being sick, without being consumed by wellness, without being consumed by sickness, without being consumed by misery, pain, or joy. Just flowing like a river, without being affected by those emotions. Be those emotions, because you can't do it otherwise. You have to be those emotions because you are your emotions. The mind at that moment, whatever it is you, your whole existence. When you are sad, you are sadness, you are sorrow. When you are happy, you are happiness. At the same time, be aware of the fact that you are that happiness at this very moment. You are that joy at this very moment. With that awareness will come a true perspective of what life really is. With that awareness will come a true awareness of the fundamental, cheerful seeds of contentment.
Olur mu, olmaz mı?